And welcome back for another fun Extreme Power Hour where I've got a great friend of mine in town. So great to have you here, Molly.
Thank you.
Molly Whalen, where we're talking about her amazing event that she put on. That also, honestly, that we're bringing some of those like highlights and putting them in a bite-sized chunks, just like eating an elephant. We got to break it down one bite at a time. And so this is a workshop that's called Up Level Your Business, where we're going to dive into almost like the speed of business. And I know you talked about before that everything is kind of lightning speed and the speed of light, and people are going like this, like, oh my gosh, but actually it's called the speed of business. And I know speed of business in today's world is different. Well, let's even call it pre-COVID time, right? And so right now, efficiencies, we've talked about finding like the right clients, right?
Yes.
Not every client's your right client, and how to find those right clients. And now we're going to go straight into speed of business. Take it away.
We are. So before I get into it, I want to talk about the 3 different types of personalities and functioning of your business. The first step in the initial growth step into your business is doers. And these doers are in their business. They work in it, not on it. 80% or more of your time is creating systems and hiring people, and it's really slow and it bogs you down. And the doers can have this sense of entrepreneur syndrome and backsliding and feeling like you're all alone. And when you have failures in it, like you're trying different things, like you're testing the waters with your clients and what have you, and it fails. It's really hard to accept no's from clients. It's really hard to put yourself out there. And at this point, most people are spending about 60 hours or more in their business. And they're showing that out of the 33 million small businesses in the United States, 19% of us spend 60 hours or more in our business. So that's a lot. And that's in that doer kind of mode. The next step up is actors. And actors start, they have this exponential growth. They're reading books. They're putting the systems into place. They've hired some of the good people for their business, but they're so tired and exhausted and overwhelmed because they're just completely immersed in their business. So their family life tends to suffer as well. And they don't feel confident in what they're doing completely yet. And so they will feel like, others will see them like, oh my gosh, you're such an amazing business owner. And they're looking at them going, if you only knew.
Like the sacrifice.
If only know what I go through. And then there's the 1%ers, right? We all aspire to be these 1%ers. And the 1%ers have systems in place. They have the right team. They have great clients that they absolutely adore. They keep sloughing off the clients that they don't make money off with. They hone in on the leadership skills personally and with their team, and they have this can-do attitude. And even if there are setbacks in the company, they know they can course correct. So this is what I call doers, actors, and 1%ers, just so you know. And so when you talk about the speed of business, we have functioning speed. And this is kind of where the doers are, right? This functioning speed is you're trying to get the right team and the right systems and more support and things that set you back. These pitfalls in the functioning speed is employee turnover.
Right.
Not hiring the right employees, not finding the employees that you want.
We're in the world right now. It's, we were talking about a little bit before about pre-COVID and post-COVID. And COVID kind of shook things up, right?
It did. It was incredible. It was really incredible, and changing and course correcting from that. And so, but 19% of the business owners are in this functioning speed. So the next speed is processing speed. And this is how quickly you can get from A to Z. So it's really important. I hear so many of my business owners that I coach talk about, well, I've always done it this way.
Right.
You know, I always go out and I have coffee with the clients, or I go to their homes, or I spend all this time trying to get a client, and the client wants to meet with me and all of this. So,
Right.
and it bogs them down. It really bogs you down. The more time you're spent with one client means the less time you have with other potential clients, right? So one of my business clients that I was working with, and I was coaching her, she was spending almost 20 hours a week driving to clients' homes.
Wow.
20 hours. And she makes about $200 an hour when she's with the client, but she doesn't make anything during drive time. And so she was spending all this time, the wear and tear on her vehicle, gas, and her time where she couldn't be with other clients.
Right.
And so when we looked at it, the cost was about $5,000 a month
Wow.
in lost business, right? And cost. $5,000 a month. So when you turn that in where she could have had clients coming to her, then she doesn't drive to them, right? It cost her $350 a month for her office.
Wow.
So can you imagine saving that kind of money in your business? And this is that processing speed. How quickly can you onboard a client, and how quickly can you move through the process from meeting with a client, sending out a proposal, getting the acceptance on the proposal, and providing the service that you want to provide,
Right.
truncating that so that it creates that processing speed.
Or even selling a product.
Absolutely.
Right.
How can you turn it over faster?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so many of us have those blinders
Right.
on we can't see the forest through the trees, right?
Right.
Right. And so what can we do to speed up that processing speed? So all of you just take a moment, all of you great business owners out there, and just take a deep breath
Oof.
and think about all the
Find
steps.
your happy place, right?
Find your happy place. Yes. Stand in your power as a resourceful business owner, right? And standing in that power, what can you do to do things differently than what you've always done?
Mm.
And is it true that you would really lose that client because you don't go to them and they come to you?
Mm.
Is it really true that you can't create proposals over the phone, over Zoom, whatever it may be?
Do it on your phone, on the beach,
anything.
or sitting at your desk at your office
Yes.
in Montana. You could be in Hawaii. You could be in Brazil, wherever.
That's right. When you start stepping out of that, I have to do it all myself, or I have to go to them, or I have to. Whenever I hear have tos, I'm like, there's the opportunity.
Do you work for your business, or does your business work for you?
Right.
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 Did you leave a 40-hour-a-week job to work 66 hours with all that risk?
And not
when
make
it's
any
all
money.
sudden, you'd make less.
I know.
Right.
Do you know that out of the 33 million small businesses out there, only 40% make a profit?
Wow.
Only 40%. 60% of us aren't making a profit.
Stop. That hurts.
And so this processing speed is a part of it.
Right.
It really is. And how do you figure that out? What can you eliminate? What can you increase? Then the next level, you ready? It's expansion speed.
Ooh, so now we're looking at, if we're looking at the graph.
Now we're shooting up, and expansion
That
speed.
can hurt too. Expansion.
That's a pitfall. Since you brought it up, if you expand too fast and you're too thin, it is failure.
That's that working at 2 a.m. and it's just not happening.
Right. Well, it's even more than that. It's like if you are doing sales, like I did my first year with my company, I went from 70,000 to $500,000. That was really fast.
Basically times 10.
Really thin, and you're scrambling to make things work, and you're not always doing it at the best, right?
Right.
So with expansion speed, looking at every aspect of your company and how can you maximize everything,
Productivity,
right? Everything.
efficiency.
Everything. Looking at all of it as you expand. So instead of buying more infrastructure, using what you have to maximize it out.
Right. And now in your case, it would be, you know what, do I buy a bigger van to send 8 people, or do I have a Toyota Camry that holds 4 people?
Right.
Right. And so maybe the investment in a larger vehicle to put more people on site, faster, efficient, bam, move to the next
correct.
job.
So we do have company vehicles. And so if we're sending out, like you said, 2 people in a vehicle or 5 people in a vehicle, how are we more efficient?
Right. And a bigger vehicle is more fuel. And if I'm sending 2 people in a vehicle that's 8, I'm losing $30 just in fuel alone.
Absolutely. And you're paying for all that drive time, right?
All that drive.
So you've got to look at all the aspects and the speed of business. And so that expansion speed is really critical.
Now, would you say be hesitant on the growth? Or are you saying if you do grow, hit the gas, go as fast as you can? Or do you need to plan before you hit the gas?
So it's all of it. It depends on what's going on. If you have the systems in place and you have the people in place, go as fast as you possibly can, because it starts to have a life of its own, and then it just grows from there. If you don't have the systems in place, it's a recipe for a failure.
I guess let's spell this out for especially the audience that's paying attention. Most businesses will probably start kind of in that service industry. And I know that's exactly where one of your expertise, never mind products, but products are a different animal for businesses. We're talking more about services. And so at that same time, what does that look like in the sense of pitfalls?
So with systems, what they do for you is if you lose a critical employee, you have another employee that can step in and have that system, so you're not recreating the wheel each time.
So what if, for example, I got to fire this guy. Do I fire him now, then find somebody else? Or do I keep him on until I find that person to replace him? Make sense?
It does. And I have had the pitfall of keeping a bad employee. And if you keep the wrong employee in your business, it will...
Toxic.
It just implodes from the inside out. So other employees are upset. It's like that rotten apple in a bowl. So you have all these beautiful apples around it, and you don't know about that rotten one in the middle. And a lot of times as business owners, we find out a little too late, unfortunately. But that rotten apple then infects all the other apples, which is all the other employees, which then they go out and cause more damage with your clients.
Right.
And it is painful to let somebody go because you need a body. You're in this growth mode. But if you have the right systems in place, that new employee can step in, have the manuals, be able to hit the ground running.
So you're saying if you got the bad apple, get it out of there.
Immediately.
Try to adjust quickly, even if you don't have the person to replace it. Well, you did it before, you'll do it again. You'll find another employee to replace it, and don't ruin everything else.
And it's amazing. The other employees will step up. You will see other employees be like, wow, that was really powerful to get rid of that person because they were so toxic, that they will... they will be more productive. They will be on board. They will support you more in that decision. Yeah. And it's so interesting how many of us hold on to somebody that probably shouldn't be.
You might even go back, man, I should have got rid of them like 2 years ago. Absolutely. Or whatever
Absolutely.
happened.
And the fallout from it. And so we spend 80% of our time as business owners on 20% of our employees, which are the problem people.
Yeah.
Think about that. We could spend 80% of our time with those employees that are amazing, right? And we're going to talk about the right fit employee. I really want to get into that. But spending that time, that 80% with that right fit employee, it changes everything about your company.
Allows you to go on vacation probably too,
right?
It
does. Allows you to do a lot of things.
So what I liked is what you were talking about is the speed of business isn't just about customer acquisition and clients acquisition. This is talking about employment too, the speed of business to hire and fire.
Absolutely.
And do you wait until you're busy to hire, or do you hire before you get busy?
I'm always hiring. I don't
Never
own a
stop.
cleaning company. I own a hiring business.
Do I? Oh,
I
okay.
do. So I'm always looking for those exceptional employees. And if I don't have enough work for them, I then will hit the ground
Right.
to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because when you have exceptional employees, you can have growth.
Mm-hmm. And I like that relationship that you were just mentioning there. Owner and employees.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people have gray lines.
Mm-hmm.
Do they hire their friends? Do they do this? Do they do that? And maybe you've had experiences in the last couple of decades of doing that. And
I've never hired a friend.
Never hired a friend.
No. Or you could have a friend's son or daughter.
Right.
But never a friend.
Never a friend. Okay. Yeah.
I want to keep them as friends.
Okay.
Looking at it,
so it's church and state.
It is.
Got it.
To be a leader of a company and to have that friendship, it can look to other employees like you have favoritism, and it's not a good thing.
Right.
And if your friend calls out or your friend makes mistakes, or how are you going to sit down and have those really challenging conversations and then go out and have a beer afterwards?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great concept, and that's a great way to kind of finish this off with that speed of business.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to slow down to go faster.
You do. And the last one that's really critical is that leadership skill.
Right.
And that leadership development speed, because the right people equals success.
Right.
It absolutely does. So that leadership and development of yourself, hiring the right coach. Like I spent $20,000 on a business coach, and yes, they helped me incredibly with my systems, but they didn't help me with my mindset and how I want to show up as a leader and a business owner.
So it's almost get you right before you take on the business and getting the business right.
Absolutely. So all these traps this is why marrying what I do from a traditional coach to also that life coach brings that whole human aspect to the table.
Awesome. And what do we have to look forward to on the next?
And we're going to get into systems.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's a good one.
It is.
Yeah.
Not very sexy, but it's important for this expansion.
But it plays
growth.
right off from the speed of business. If you don't have the right processes in place, the platforms, whatever the programs that you're using to almost automate it.
Yes.
And same with, it probably goes in the functions of payroll.
Yes, all of it.
Planning, websites, all of the technology that can be utilized and leveraged forward.
Yes.
All right. Stay tuned for the next.
Thank you.